All right, y'all. So we're gonna get back to it. There's nothing to it but to do it. And like I say, so we're gonna get to it. Yeah, so right now we're working on taking the injectors out. We're swapping them. There's two seals. There's an upper one, which is blue, a lower one that is red. If you look closely, there's a little ridge. Make sure that the injectors go back in that ridge. I'm reusing the ones that we have. I do not recommend doing it. I do recommend replacing with new injectors as well as new seals, as well as relieving the fuel pressure. Confirm this. Make sure you disconnect the battery, which I already did, and to make sure you do this because we did lose a good amount of fuel. Okay? So this is the actual how-to. You can go ahead and pause it. This is how you relieve the fuel pressure. Okay? And if you want to know where the relay is, the best way is just crawl under the car, disconnect the connector that goes to the fuel pump. I had to do this in order to do compression test because the car kept trying to start. So I actually had to cut the fuel. And there's no quick fuel like fuse or relay. Like you have to do it this way. So just crawl under the car, unplug the dang thing, let the car run until it can't run anymore, and then do anything you need to do to either do a compression test or to disable the fuel system. Okay? So right now, there's these 4 bolts here that you need to remove. I removed all 4 of them. I'm not doing this entire process because I'm only swapping 2 injectors, but I want to at least show you guys what it entails, okay? So O-ring will either get stuck in there or it'll come out with this. Make sure they're on there correctly and that you put them back in the rail before you put it back together, okay? A little bit of gas or a little bit of oil, a little bit of grease, silicone, whatever you have to make this slide on smoother, because if you tear the O-rings, you will have a fuel injector leak and you will get a lean code, okay? So be very careful. It's nothing serious, but still something to be mindful of. All right, but I wanted you guys to at least kind of see what Dodge's procedure is. So I know everybody doesn't have access to this, all right? But it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It says right here, lightly lubricate with clean engine oil. Okay, clean. Okay. Injector bores, which you should do because they will be dirty. They were dirty. I looked at them and I was like, dang. It's not as dirty as a direct fuel injector would be, but still it's pretty dirty. All right. Does it say what the torque spec is for these? Okay, 62 inch-pounds. All right. 62 inch-pounds is nothing. And then I gotta see the plenum. And then that'll go into there. Where's the torque spec? Blah, blah, blah. So the 7 upper intake manifold attachment bolts. Okay, 89 inch bolts. So these are 89 inch bolts in this order, right? And then this is a bracket which was on the side. It was kind of hard for me to record during the teardown. But it's essentially these 2 nuts here, and then you have this stud down here at the bottom. And I'll try to show you guys that. And then this are the brackets on the front. What I did was I removed the 2 bolts and then removed the 2 studs here. So I did not have to mess with the bottom. I loved it the way it came apart. We'll see if it's easier putting it back together though, because that's the only thing that I I'm like, ugh. All right, let's get to it. Let's close this door back. I wish you could make it stay like that. Nope. All good. Heat. Leave it. Smells like gas in here already. So, this is the injector. This is cylinder 1. And this is the O-ring for the top. This is the O-ring for the bottom. Now this O-ring, it got stuck down here. And as you can see, like they said, it gets crummy in here. Like, it's nasty. It's nasty. We're just gonna, you know, alright. Boom. And then I'm gonna pull this other one out. I really don't like this setup. I'm not gonna lie. They're just like, remove them. And I'm like, okay, how? Not this one. Where's the one I just had? Like, remove it. How? How would you like me to remove these? So I don't like removing them like this. It's a popping motion you need to do. But I'm kind of rocking it. I don't know if you can see. I'm kind of rocking it. Where's the one that I was just using? And I can see the seal down there at the bottom, so I know it's coming out. But just rock it back and forth. Okay. So this is cylinder 3, and as you can see, this seal isn't here. The seal is in the rail. Okay. I'm gonna clean off this gunk. And you could use brake clean or some, you know, actual cleaner to make this nice and shiny, or you could just replace them. Like I said, my issue is not really this. I'm doing this more so for a process of elimination, right? I know it's not spark plugs. We changed the spark plugs already. I know it's not coils. I swapped the coils. I know it's not compression. I did a compression test. Compression results were good across the board. So we heard a ticking noise. We assumed, you know, it's cams. So we swapped both cams. We swapped the, I don't know what you call them, but I just call them rocker arms. Okay, and I didn't see any issues with the valves themselves. Can't really see them from the top, but you'd be able to see, you know, pretty easily if they're bent or not. So, no, that's not the issue. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm taking the injector from cylinder 3 where I had my misfire, right? My misfire was in cylinder 3. I'm going to take it from cylinder 3 and I'm going to put it in cylinder 1, because now if I put this back together and I still have a misfire and it's in cylinder 1 now, I know it's a bad injector. If I put everything back together, I don't have any misfires, and we know it was something with the cams. Okay? So, like I said, if the injector seal gets stuck at the bottom, choose a pry tool such as this, something not too sharp at the end, and gently pull the seal out. Try not to tear it. Try not to damage the, what do you call it, the lower intake manifold. But just pull it out and out like so. And clean the seal off. Okay. Clean the seal off.